What is up, everyone? Your boy, SEC Football Tube here, back with another live today. Happy Friday afternoon to everybody, but more importantly than that, way more importantly than that, in fact, happy Game Day Eve. Guys, we made it. College football is back. It's the most wonderful time of the year. We got college football every Saturday for 5 months. It's great to be back. You know, honestly, this is really when everything, at least for me, starts to get better this time of year. You know, I go to the therapist sometimes and they ask me, what are some hobbies that you enjoy that can help you out with some stuff? And I tell them, honestly, football, college football. That's my biggest hobby. And now that it's back, hopefully I won't need to come in as much over the next few months. Unless another LSU game happens or we suck this year, then you might be seeing me more. But, no, man, it's great to be back. But let's see who's all in here real quick. Sentient, welcome, Sentient. It's good to see you, buddy. Clemson Carson, nice to see you as well. South Carolina fan 943, it's great to see you guys. I'm glad you guys could join in. This is going to be a fun stream, man. It's going to be a fun stream. I'm excited. And I'll tell you this real quick. I am so glad that I have OBS and I'm starting to use OBS so I can do these, custom templates. Because if I wanted to do that on StreamYard, I'd be paying like over $20 a week just to do that. That is ridiculous. Oh my god, that's ridiculous, bro. That is absolutely ridiculous. So I'm glad I can have OBS so I can do these graphics for free. How you doing, Wolverine? It's great to see you. But yeah, I mean, it's great to be back. It's great to be back. It is great to be back. But yeah, it's football time, which means it's time to do some predictions. Week 0 begins tomorrow, and it's time for me to give my picks for the games. Even brought back the old prediction style for those of you who were here before 2020. But anyways, let's get right into it. Shall we? And man, we have an amazing start to this season with Farmageddon, Kansas State versus Iowa State in Ireland. Man, this is going to be a great game. These are two really, really good teams and two contenders for the Big 12. Iowa State really has a badass helmet for this game, by the way. I just throwing that out there. But anyways, I truly think this one can go either way. It's massive for both teams. Both teams, I believe, have really good quarterbacks. Avery Johnson for K-State and Rocco Beck for the Clones. If they can clear up the turnovers, they're going to be good. I'm interested in seeing Avery Johnson go up against Iowa State's incredible pass defense. It ranked number 1 last year. Could be top 10 yet again. Now, to be fair, they were really bad in stopping the run, so that definitely had a factor in the pass defense being so high. Lucas, don't worry. I'm gonna get into all that. We're gonna get into Auburn being clowns, and we're gonna get into the SEC 9-game expansion. Don't worry. We're gonna get into all that. But anyways, Kansas State's Dylan Edwards, running back, is explosive, and I think he's going to have another big season. Iowa State can also run the ball. They did well in doing so in last year's game. They got a dangerous duo in Carson Hansen and Abu Sama. I hope I said that right. I think this could be a game where both teams feed the ground game. This one is a toss-up, but I do like Kansas State here. I got the Cats winning this one, and I'm actually going to go with a spread here. I like the 3-point spread in this game. I think it's perfect. I think it's right where it should be. So I'm going to take the Cats to win this game, and I'm going to take the 3-point spread. It's great to have this style back. Any of you guys who remember my style back from, before 2022, this is what I did, especially in 2019. This is when I really introduced this. But anyways, you got UNLV versus Idaho State. This one will be quick. This one's going to be quick. I got UNLV winning and covering. Our old buddy, Dan Mullen, who we definitely got fired from Florida in 2021, by the way. No one's going to convince me otherwise. Is the head man for the Rebels. I think he's building something good there. I think the Vegas boys dominate to start the season. I got them winning this game and covering the 26-point spread. Man, I'm talking so fast I gotta breathe for a second, you know? Excuse me for that real quick. But we got next up we got Kansas and Fresno State. A home game for Kansas. I know Kansas fans are happy to have a real home game against somebody for the first time since 2023. This is a game to watch here. Fresno State is never a team to sleep on. It ain't give Kansas a lot of trouble. And to be honest, this is a potential upset game for me. However, Fresno State's running game is almost as mid as Nico. I mean, hell, it might be worse. Is that possible? Dang. 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 Fresno State might be down bad in the running back room, man. Be worse than Nico. That's pretty bad. But anyways, good news for Fresno State is that Kansas got burned a lot last year through the air. If that secondary doesn't get fixed, then the Dogs will be in a position to pull this one off. I do think Kansas wins here. I think they'll be able... Excuse me. I lost my train of thought. I think they'll be able to get the pass attack going here. And I think up front, they'll be good enough to hold the Bulldogs running game. I think you win here, Kansas, but I'm taking Fresno State to cover that spread. Listen, again, I could freaking see Fresno State winning this game, bro. I really could. Yep, that's right. Lou NLV. Lou NLV. That's right. Uncle Lou's hometown team. You know what's funny? When I lived in Arizona, I was only an hour and a half away from Las Vegas. We would go there all the time. All the time. So, I mean, I basically... I went to Vegas like almost every month, pretty much. I mean, we did. We went to Vegas like every month. We lived that close. So, I guess I could call UNLV my hometown team as well. But nah. But anyways, next up we got Sam Houston versus Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky is a 10.5 point favorite here at home. A big game for the Conference USA. Who cares? But, if you're one of them, you do. Sam Houston is kind of building themselves back up. Phil Longo, the new head coach for them. Sam Houston is coming off a 10-win season. Excuse me. But with the changes to the coach and the roster, I still have some questions, guys, especially on the defense here. I think Western Kentucky's offense is at an advantage here despite some new pieces. I do think this will be close, but Western Kentucky is better positioned to win this game. And because of that, I'm going with the Hilltops here. I think the Hilltops win this game. But I do think the Bearcats slightly cover that 10.5 point spread. I do think that Sam Houston will be pretty good. Well, no, not pretty. I feel like Sam Houston is going to compete very good. That's what I meant. You know what I meant. All right, next up, last but not least, Stanford versus Hawaii. Boy, Stanford's down bad, aren't they? Down bad. They might genuinely be the worst team in the ACC this year, outside of Wake Forest at least. UVA and Cal are ahead of them in the ACC Power Index. Shit, I don't know about that, Jack. But anyway, Stanford versus Hawaii. Hawaii is a slight 2.5 point favorite here, but Stanford has nearly a 70% chance to win according to the matchup predictor. I mean, look, Stanford's been in a mess, man. They're facing a significant rebuild. They did bring in Andrew Luck as GM, and they're going to need some of that luck this year. Yeah, I'm terrible. I know. Just gotta be honest. Also, they have a new coach in Frank Reich, however you say it. Pretty much in reboot mode. Hawaii's passing game, I think, will go off here. Stanford had one of the worst passing defenses last year, and I don't think it gets much better this year, guys. Honestly, I don't. However, I think Stanford will be the more physical team here. While this could go easily, and I mean easily, go in Hawaii's favor, I just think Stanford will out-physical Hawaii in the trenches. So, I will be taking the Cardinal to win a close one on the road in Hawaii to say aloha to their season. Yes, again, I'm terrible. I get it. Anyways, that's it for my Week 0 picks. I know that was quick, but we're going to have a lot more action next week, guys, when we pick Week 1, and that's going to be a very fun stream, guys. But, I'm looking forward to Farmageddon, bro. I really am. I am so looking forward to Farmageddon. That's going to be a great game. It's going to be an amazing game, bro. But let's look at the chat real quick, see what you guys are saying. Let's see. Hawaii might actually beat Stanford. Yeah, I think they very well could. I'll be honest, I think they very well could. Screw it, give me Hawaii, says Clemson Carson. All right, you guys are picking Hawaii to win the game there. Can't say I blame y'all one bit, honestly. I do think Sam Houston is getting better, but I'm not sure they're ready to overthrow the likes of West. Yeah, that's my thing. That's my thing. I just feel like Western Kentucky's in a better position to win that game, especially it being on the road as well at Western Kentucky. I think I just don't see Sam Houston going on the road and winning that game, man. I just don't. I don't. Granted, I don't know a lot about either team, but you know, I just don't see it. Maybe they prove me wrong, but either way, I mean, look, guys, college football's back. We're desperate. We're gonna watch like any game, right? Any game we can watch, we're gonna watch. Wolverine says, "Give me Stanford," but it wouldn't shock me if Hawaii won. It wouldn't shock me one bit at all. It really wouldn't. I'll be honest. I'm not sure why I picked Kansas to beat Fresno State. Honestly, I really think Fresno State could go in there. Yeah, we got high school football tonight too. That's always fun. But anyways, let's move into some other topics here. South Carolina is now officially a Nike school, and I freaking love it, bro. South Carolina inks apparel deal with Nike. The Under Armour contract ends on June 30th, 2026, and the Gamecocks will change to Nike for the 26th season. Guys, I gotta be honest, I'm stoked about this. I personally wanted to see South Carolina get a deal with Nike for a long time. Man, just thinking about that sweet Nike icon on their jerseys. I love it, bro. I love it. I will say, I grew up seeing them have Under Armour, so it will probably be nostalgic for me a bit. And unfortunately, I think that means that we will protect this house video that they played before the Sandstorm will no longer be used after this season. Because, of course, that is an Under Armour ad, so I highly doubt you're going to be using that again. I highly doubt you're going to be using that again. But I'm gonna have to enjoy doing that a couple more times this season while I'm at Williams-Brice, because I always like that. Right before the Sandstorm, we will protect this house. But yeah. But again, I've always thought Nike would fit perfectly on our jerseys, so that would be cool to see. Maybe you disagree, but I personally like it. I really like it. I think it's going to be awesome seeing the Nike logo on the Gamecock jersey. But anyways, looking at the chat one more time. Oh, good God, I just realized Sam Houston made Phil Longo their coach. Yeah, that probably might backfire a bit. I'm actually glad week one this year has some good games, because the last couple years have been pretty lackluster. Yeah, this week one is probably the best week one we've had in a long time, bro. Let's see. I saw that. I think it's neat. I'm calling it Fresno State upsets Kansas. I like it, bro. I like it. Copying Big Brother on yet another thing. Get out of here, Carson. You can't see it, but I'm giving you the middle finger right now. I'm just kidding, bro. I love you. But Tennessee went from Nike to Adidas, or however you... I don't even know how to say it. I'm not even going to attempt to. Which I hated it, but now I'm fine with it, because... whatever, giving us $20 million a year, which is 4 times what Nike's been giving us, that is true. That is a better financial thing for Tennessee as well. And I think, honestly, Nike might be giving Carolina a little bit more than Under Armour did, too. So, yeah. Clemson Carson doing that smiley emoji, bro. Carson, how do you feel about Lenora Sellers and Shane Beamer freaking owning Death Valley? How do you feel about that? I'm kidding. I love you, bro. But bro calls it Big Brother, yet they just can't win that. I don't know. I'm sorry. Anyways, in other news, get ready for this one. Guys, this is the one I feel like a lot of you have been waiting for. Just when you think you can't see anything more embarrassing and sad this offseason, I mean, you had Georgia Tech making rings for beating a 2-win FSU and yearly fraud Miami team, and then making rings for losing to Vanderbilt in the Birmingham Bowl. You saw Vandy make rings for winning the Birmingham Bowl. But nothing, and I mean nothing, can be more clown or down bad than what we saw a couple days ago with Auburn. Auburn is so down bad. They went out of nowhere and thought it would be a good idea to claim 4 fake national titles. Auburn now has 9 natties, at least 9 natties claimed. They decided to they decided to dig deep into the record books and claim fake national titles. From 1910, 1914, 1956, and 2004. They also decided to claim 15 conference championships. Man, bro, this is what poverty down bad programs do. I mean, not only do you have everyone making fun of you now, not a single person outside of Auburn is going to recognize or legitimize these. Now, tons of teams have done this, to be fair. Many teams, especially when they are in a state of poverty like Auburn is, have claimed fake national titles. Look at Bama, look at UCF, look at Tennessee, and some other schools that have done this stupid shit. But going back so far as to claim fake natties from the World War I era, is that what we're doing now? Well, shit. If that's the case, I guess South Carolina should go ahead and claim the 1907 national title then, huh? For those of you who don't know, 1907 was the first and only undefeated season in Gamecock football history. I mean, shit, might as well claim that natty as well from 118 fucking years ago. Even though we didn't earn it. I mean, if Auburn and others are claiming fake natties, why not then, right? This is sad. I mean, again, no one outside of Auburn is going to take these seriously. And you make yourself a national laughingstock. Even if you feel there's a real case for why those natties are actually yours, it's still a really bad look. It's something that down bad programs do, and that's exactly what Auburn is. You guys know the saying, Auburn is going to Auburn, but more power to you. Congrats on those fake national titles. You got yourself, to make yourself feel better. You know, maybe next year you can claim Tennessee's life championships, huh? Yeah, freaking joke. Freaking joke. Auburn is such a joke, bro. What's the best they've done this decade, man? What is the best they've done? They've done nothing this decade. South Carolina has more wins than them this decade. Think about that. That's sad, bro. That is just sad. Poverty. Poverty, poverty, poverty. Yeah, let's read the chat again. Clemson Carson says we're talking about the same Auburn team who is going to have like 3 different play callers for every down offense this year. Yeah. They're so down bad that they need to claim a bunch of fake natties for therapy. I mean, that's just sad. Auburn might have, Wolverine. Auburn might have claimed all those titles. It still doesn't change the fact that they are still one of the 4 Power 4 teams that have yet to have a season with 7 or more wins this decade. Damn. And that's down bad, bro. That's down bad. I mean, tell me you haven't had more than 7 wins this decade. Dang, man. Dang. That's down bad. Shane Beamer hit that in his first year. 7 wins, then 8 wins, down to 5, unfortunately, due to a lot of injuries. Then 9 seasons. I mean, South Carolina's been more successful this decade than Auburn. You guys are a freaking joke. Auburn is such a joke, bro. I mean, congratulations. Congratulations on, having Cam Newton and everything. Congratulations on all the success you've done. To claim a bunch of fake natties that you didn't really even earn straight up, I mean, bro. That is just sad. And again, I mean, shit. Maybe South Carolina ought to go out and claim the 1907 national title then, huh? Shit, we wouldn't have to hear about how we have no natties anymore, wouldn't we? God, I'd be so embarrassed if that happened. Not only would I be embarrassed if South Carolina ever reached that level of poverty, I'd probably go off the freaking internet if that happened. 1907 national title. South Carolina's never going to do this, or at least I don't think they would. But, like, what is the point of Auburn claiming all these national titles from pre-World War One? Again, Jordan Dealmaker, it's nice to see you, my friend. It's nice to see you, man. I'm glad you're in the stream, buddy. I plan to join you and Gamecock Chuck tonight on StreamYard and talk with you again. That was an awesome conversation. That really was. I'm glad I got to talk with you, man. But the other one is Virginia. God. Vandy has been more successful this decade than Auburn. Let that sink in. That's true. That's true. That's true. God, you know what's even funnier? Didn't Mississippi State win like 9 games? But before the unfortunate tragedy with Mike Leach? Didn't they win 9 games that year? That's more than Auburn's won in a decade. Dang. Have you guys seen Mississippi State? Have you guys seen them? Auburn really is a joke, man. They are absolutely a joke. To have Mississippi State and Vanderbilt more successful than you this decade is insane. Truly. Truly. But, anyways, in more news, it was announced yesterday that the SEC will be moving to a 9-game schedule. Now, there's been some mixed reactions to this, and to be honest, I got very mixed feelings about this myself, but you know, the big question now is who's going to be our permanent opponents. Who do you keep? Who do you lose? You know, do you keep Kentucky, Vandy, and Missouri, or do you bring back Tennessee or Georgia? What about that yearly matchup with Texas A&M? What's it going to look like? I think that's the big question everyone's asking. The good news is that it sounds like the South Carolina-Clemson game will continue. I don't think that's in jeopardy from this. But there is one thing that I read off Twitter, and again, this probably cannot be false, but I saw a tweet from Brad Crawford over at 24/7 Sports that the ACC could also be moving to a 9-game conference schedule as well, potentially affecting some of South Carolina's occasional non-conference regional matchups against UNC and NC State, which if the ACC does move to that format and it does affect those games, it'll be a bummer. At least for me. I really enjoy seeing those matchups with North Carolina. It's always fun. The Battle of the Carolinas, always a treat when it comes around. Playing NC State here and there is also fun, and it'll be a shame if those don't happen anymore. Now, again, they might still probably find a way to make these work. They might, but if it is true that those are in serious jeopardy from this, it's going to suck, but I do understand the reasoning for the 9-game schedule in some way, because, you know, well, we'll have better games or something. The problem is, you know, and I've heard the argument it's better for rivalries and stuff, but it could also affect some of that as well. It would be a shame, though, if South Carolina and North Carolina don't play anymore. I mean, that's fun. Okay, this is a personal thing for me. I just like it. But, again, who knows? Because South Carolina does have UNC and NC State scheduled for the future. I think they have home and home with North Carolina in 2028, 2029. Then NC State in 2030 and 2031. Hopefully those won't be in jeopardy, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, again, this is just my personal opinion. I like having those games, but, you know. But who do you guys think will be our 3 permanent opponents? Who would you want to see? Me personally, I'd like to keep Kentucky. I would like to keep Vandy just because it's fun to beat up on them every year. No disrespect. And I'd love to see us add back either Tennessee or Georgia. That's what I'd like to see. Let me know what you guys would like to see. But yeah, SEC moves to a 9-game schedule. The sport continues to change, and whether we like it or not, we just got to roll with it. Just got to roll with it, man. Listen, I've said this before. A lot of people freaked out about South Carolina sponsorship thing. Even if you don't like where, the sport is now, the sport is at a place where you got to either adapt or die. You got to roll with the changes or get left behind. That's just where we are. So, and again, it doesn't matter, to me at least, what color the sponsorship logo is, as long as it helps bring in stuff for the university to help you win and be successful, to improve the fan experience, And I know Jordan Dealmaker's in the chat. I know I've told him this before. But, yeah. We just got to adapt, man. Even if we hate it, do I personally like where the sport is right now? No. But, shoot, it's either that or you're just going to be left behind. South Carolina is making the changes to get with the big boys, and I'm here for it. It's something they need to do. And, the SEC, college football, it's changing. It is changing. And I think this could be a good thing. I really think the 9-game schedule could be a good thing. Again, I got mixed feelings on it, but I think it could be good. Now, if we don't get to play UNC or NC State or any other regional opponents for a while, I'd especially like to see us play someone from the Big 12 or Big 10, because you're required to reschedule at least one additional non-con Power 4 game. I know Carolina has Clemson, but I think that would be awesome, especially the Big 10, bro. Oh my God, please. I'd like to see us schedule a Big 10 opponent for sure. I want to see us play Illinois again. I want to see that. Now, that's probably fantasy, but oh my God, bro, please, that would be great. It's so crazy to think that Illinois and South Carolina have bad blood. Illinois. I mean, you barely even think about Illinois. But we have bad blood with them now, so, that's where it is, man. That's where it is. But anyways, let's look at the chat again real quick. Let's read what you guys are saying. Jordan Dealmaker says we keep Georgia, Vandy, or Tennessee, Florida. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know about Florida, honestly. I'm not really sure about Florida, but I think we could probably... Tennessee might be a little hard, too. I think we could get Georgia back, though. I think that could be where we go. Another one from Dealmaker. I personally want to keep Clemson, which we will keep as well as Coastal and SC State. Yeah, I love when South Carolina plays the local schools. It's always great. Green says USC versus USC, battle for the real. Yeah, South Carolina Southern Cal would be a good matchup. It would be. I wouldn't mind that. Can you guys hear me? Because apparently the stream disconnected. You guys can hear me? I went back. I didn't hear any audio cut out. I didn't hear any of the audio come out when I went back into the stream. But, in case you guys missed what I was saying, I was responding to Dealmaker's comment as well. I think it's great when South Carolina plays the schools like Coastal, like Furman, like SC State, and some others. I think that's great. I think it's good. It brings in money. It helps give these schools more attention. And Carson, if I keep cutting in and out, you might have to reload the stream, man. You might have to refresh. I think that might be what it is for y'all. I think y'all might need to refresh, because that happens to me from time to time. Whenever I, am trying to watch my favorite content creators. But yeah, that's what I was saying. I think it's good when South Carolina plays those schools. And I was also apologizing because, you guys know I have a disability, unfortunately. And speech and stuttering is unfortunately one of them. So I am sorry that if I keep stuttering or anything, I can't help it. I can't help it. So I just want to say that. Wi-Fi is an Auburn fan. Yeah. Yeah. Down bad, man. Down bad. I got South Carolina 3 permanent as Georgia, Florida, and Missouri. I mean, again, I'm not so sure about Florida. I don't know if Florida really would do South Carolina. I don't know if the SEC would give us Florida because I think with Florida and their rivals and everything, I just think it'll be kind of hard to do that. But hey, you never know. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, that's what I did, and it worked. Yeah, sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you have to do that, unfortunately. But for those of you who didn't see, um, I got Kansas State beating Iowa State. I got UNLV beating Idaho State. I got Kansas beating Fresno State. And I got Western Kentucky beating Sam Houston. And I couldn't include the W graphic for this one because I ran out of scenes in OBS, but I do also have Stanford barely beating Hawaii. But my upsets, here are my upsets. I think Fresno State could get Kansas. They definitely could. And I can see Hawaii winning this game, dude. Stanford's down bad. I mean, they really are. Like I said, they're experiencing so much change. I think they might be the worst, if not one of the worst teams in the ACC this year. I just think they're in a rough spot, man, and they could very well lose this game. But I picked Stanford because I think they're more physical. I like them better in the trenches than I do Hawaii. But yeah, those are my picks. I'm gonna have to go pretty soon, guys. Just letting you know. But I'm gonna continue interacting with the chat. Georgia could be kind of hard. Georgia will have Auburn. Yeah, that is the thing. Auburn and Florida as permanent rivals. Tennessee will have I think they'll continue to have Georgia and Bama, and Florida as well with Tennessee and Georgia. I just feel like some of those might be a little hard to get it, but I understand what you say when you said earlier, Andrew, that you didn't want Georgia. I can understand that because of how Georgia's been. It's still a game I like to see every now and then. South Carolina versus Georgia. I would like to see it every now and then. But how's everybody been doing today? How's everyone doing on this wonderful Friday? It'll be interesting who Texas third will excuse me. It'll be interesting who Texas third will be. We know they'll have Oklahoma and A&M. Yeah, they will. And you guys know me. Oklahoma is my second favorite team. So I'm also interested in who they're going to get here because, I mean, maybe it's. I know for sure we'll have Texas. Maybe Oklahoma gets A&M back from this because A&M and Oklahoma did used to be somewhat of a rivalry. I mean, we did used to play every year. We did. And Missouri and Oklahoma maybe too because that's also there's some teams from the Big 12 here. I mean, I feel like we could get some rematches between OU, A&M, and even Missouri. Maybe. I'm not sure. I know Texas for sure will. But glad to hear you guys are doing good. Surprised some South Carolina fans want Tennessee more than Georgia. Figured you guys would want Georgia because that's actually a rivalry. Georgia fans don't see it as a rivalry, but I do. Okay, when I say it's a rivalry, I mean it's a rivalry because it's a border matchup. It's a border matchup. What's up, Uncle Luke? How are you doing, man? It's good to see you, bro. I imagine that whenever North Carolina eventually joins the SEC, they will become a permanent. I'd love to see that personally. I don't know. Will North Carolina and FSU join the SEC? There's been some talk about that. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in that regard. They might. It's just, again, would it surprise me? Not at all. Not at all. But I think there are some things that need to happen for that to really happen, in my opinion. We'll see how Bill Belichick does for North Carolina, though. Because North Carolina is a team this year, and I'll say this too while Luke is in here. North Carolina is a wild card for me, man. Like, who knows what they're going to be this year? Who freaking knows what they are going to be? I have no idea what UNC is going to do. I just have I have zero clue how North Carolina is going to be this year. Say that kind of about Virginia Tech as well. I don't really know what they're going to be this year because, again, Virginia Tech, of course, that's South Carolina's week one opponent. They've experienced quite a bit of turnover in their roster, but they've also brought in some transfers that could be promising. Again, I don't know if it's all going to come together against South Carolina, but eventually during the season it could. And we'll get into Virginia Tech, South Carolina next week. I mean, I'm going to go live previewing that game, and then me and Hokie for Life, Virginia Tech content creator, on Thursday of next week, we'll be giving our preview and prediction of that game. But really, what I'm going to do either Monday or Tuesday, I'm going to get on a live stream or just make a video breaking down Virginia Tech, who they are, some strengths and weaknesses, and what to watch for. Stuff like that. Pretty much just an opponent preview. So that'll be fun. And also, SEC teams, my skit also returns on Tuesday. That's right, guys. SEC teams, the skit returns on Tuesday. SEC teams preseason episode. I got some great ideas for that video, man. I got some great ideas for that video. And I know you guys have told me how much y'all love that. So, but anyways, mic disconnected. There we go. But while you guys are in here, especially if you're a Gamecock fan, I want to give a shout out to 3 South Carolina Gamecock YouTubers. I really want y'all to go check them out. Number 1, Gamecock Chuck. Please go subscribe to Gamecock Chuck. Go subscribe to Jordan Dealmaker as well. These guys are incredible in what they do. They're very knowledgeable. And I was on their show actually a couple weeks ago. They're great dudes, man. They're great dudes. I really enjoyed having a conversation with them. And they work very hard, and they deserve way more than what they got, in my opinion. So, go subscribe to them. And also, I don't know how many of you guys watched him. I did, and I still do. But Gamecock Talk with Rooster as well. How many of you remember Rooster? He's also back on YouTube. And we got to grow his channel back up. We got to. I mean, Rooster is absolutely incredible. He is knowledgeable as heck about the Gamecocks, too. He knows his stuff about this team. He follows them and researches them deeply, and you can tell. So I just wanted to give a shout out to those 3 guys. They're really good dudes. They love their team. They do a great job. And I would like to see some of you guys over there because I do plan on, if I can, joining Gamecock Chuck's live stream with Jordan Dealmaker tonight. So we will see. But I would like to see you guys go show some love and support. Surprised you didn't say Carolina Jackpot. Well, almost everybody knows about Carolina Jackpot, to be fair. And yeah, Jackpot's a good dude as well. Go subscribe to him as well. But everybody knows about Carolina Jackpot. I'm trying to get attention to some more people that aren't as popular as Carolina Jackpot. Even though I think they should be. Even though I think they should be just as popular, you know, I'm trying to give attention to them as well. And so... You know, speaking of Carolina Jackpot, I will say this. He had a debate recently with Sports Talk Jay. And I'm going to give my thoughts about that real quick. And look, Tennessee fans need to let this thing go, man. This game was 3 years ago. I'm sorry, but who cares about it now? Who cares? I mean, yeah, it was a nice upset, man. It was a rare and historic upset too. But it was 3 years ago. 3 years ago, man. I don't understand why Tennessee fans are still going on about this game. And number one, the only thing Sports Talk Jay brought to the table was just speculation. And he even admitted he had no claims for South Carolina cheating. Like, I'm sorry, but if you can't prove your claims, then why are we even having a debate? If you can't prove it, then why are you here? That's just me. And even if South Carolina's defense, by the way, had your signals, you still got to play defense. And another thing I'll say about the wristbands, too, South Carolina's worn wristbands before that game and after that game. So, again, it's just stupid, man. I don't understand it. I get why Tennessee fans think it looks odd because, to be fair, that was a rare upset, man. I mean, that was the most points an unranked team put on against a top 5 team or any AP poll team probably ever. South Carolina has struggled all year leading into that game, man. But Tennessee's defense was really bad that year, and that's exactly why. You know, Spencer Rattler wasn't a great quarterback. He was good, but he had his inconsistencies. I always felt like that guy was like one game away from going off, and that was a game he went off. And South Carolina's known for doing this, by the way. Sometimes they'll have games where their quarterbacks played a game of their life. 2010 against Alabama. Steven Garcia, again, Garcia was good. He had his inconsistencies, but he was a really good quarterback. I just wish he would have stayed out of trouble a little bit more because Garcia had so much, and I mean so much great potential. And he showed it at times. He really did. Garcia was my favorite player growing up before Marcus Lattimore was my favorite player back in 2011 through 12. But when I first started watching Gamecock football, 2008 was my first time. And 2009, so let me tell you guys a little story. 2009, when we're playing... Okay, in Wolverine, I get that, man. I do understand that. But you guys made the playoffs last year. You know what I mean? Like, you made the playoffs last year. So, I mean, you kind of made up for it. That's the thing. I don't understand it. You made up for it. I mean, yeah, you got embarrassed in Columbus, but, I mean, you made the playoffs. And I hate to say it, but had y'all made the playoffs that year, I'm not really sure y'all would have won. I'm sorry. I don't think y'all would have beaten Georgia again. I just don't think so. But, so when I was a kid, right, I was playing with my toys, and I was watching Noggin, educational TV, a rerun, actually, because, you know, it had ended by the time that Ole Miss game was on, but I remember watching the playback, and then I hear my daddy going crazy in the room in the final few minutes of the game, of the Ole Miss South Carolina game in 2009. And I asked him, can I watch this with you? And he said, yeah, go ahead. And then 10 minutes later, I saw the birth of Sandstorm with my very own eyes, and my dad was going crazy because I think that was the first time Carolina beat a top 5 team at home. And that I feel like that is what really made me a true diehard Gamecock fan was that game right there. Now I didn't have the quote unquote ball knowledge, what the kids say nowadays, like I did, like I do now. Like in 2009, bro, I was 7 years old. I mean, I was 6, 7 years old, bro. I didn't know enough about the sport that I know now. But I'm just gonna tell you, when I started seeing that, when I saw how happy my dad was, and he explained to me how big of a win that was, that got me hooked on Carolina football. When Eric Norwood made those plays to win South Carolina the game, my God, dude. I mean that was incredible, and I feel like that really started my fanhood for sure. Even though I went to the South Carolina SC State game in 2008, that was my first ever Gamecock game going to, and I sprained my ankle during that game, by the way. So fun first memories. But that Ole Miss 2009 game, I think, really started my fanhood. I mean, I was a Gamecock fan before then, but I wasn't as diehard until I saw that game. That game changed things for me. And then South Carolina the next year beats number 1 Alabama at home. And my daddy, I was playing with friends for the majority of that game. Or, no, it wasn't during that game. I'm sorry. It was after the game. It was before or after the game. I went inside to watch the game because Carolina was playing and I wanted to see them play. But I remember me and my friends, we were playing outside, then the game started. I went inside with my dad and watched the game. And South Carolina had beat number 1 Alabama. I mean, I knew how big that was too, because I was like, oh my God, we beat the number 1 team in the country. And that was so big. That upset is still huge. And by the way, look. I picked Alabama to beat us because I don't want to accidentally pick it. I don't want to pick with my gut for the first time and them finally lose. But I'm telling you, I have a gut feeling Carolina beats Alabama, guys. I do. And I see so much Bama fans saying there's no way we lose to South Carolina. You guys did it. You guys almost did it last year in Tuscaloosa. Don't tell me that. And I heard that from A&M fans the week heading into last year, too. I heard that from Tennessee fans leading into 2022. I heard that from Georgia fans leading into 2019 when I was telling everybody that we were going to win that game. My mother called me delusional for telling her, hey, we're going to beat Georgia in Athens. She had to eat crow on Facebook that same evening, and that was glorious to see, by the way. But, look, that Ole Miss game in 2009 really started my ultimate fandom. And I'm so glad I got to witness the best years of South Carolina football. And hopefully South Carolina will outdo that. I think we're getting to a place in the program where I really feel like this team's going to go on to do some good things this year. I really do. Well, this year, but I'm talking about over the next few years. Because let me tell you guys something. If South Carolina comes out here and wets the bed this season, next season's going to be really good for South Carolina. Because I feel like we'll have a lot of returning players. And all we're bringing in from the recruiting class as well. I think Carolina could have a strong season next year too. Now here's the thing: if Lenoris Sellers has the season, a lot of us think he's going to have, he'd be stupid not to take that NFL money. I'm just going to be honest. If he has a chance to be like a top 10 or top 5 NFL draft pick or something, I'm sorry, but he'd be stupid not to take that money, man. Look, if someone offered me 300, or no, not 300, someone offered me like $20 to $40 million or even more, I mean, I would take that in a heartbeat. Not just for myself, but for my family. With that kind of money, I can ensure that my parents never have to work again. Like, I'd use that to bless their life. And then, of course, look, if you guys ever get lucky enough to win the lottery, I'm just going to give you an advice. I'm just going to give you some advice. Save and invest that money. Do it. Make it last, even though it's going to be hard. Look, $1 million, believe it or not, could actually go pretty quick. It really could, especially when you're young. Have someone around you who knows what they're doing with some money, man. Because if Now, unfortunately, if you win the lottery, the government's going to take like 60% of your winnings, unfortunately. But, again, that's just how things are. But invest your money, man. Invest your money. Invest it. And let it build up over time. Just, of course, and I say that with any amount of money, just be smart with it, man. Don't be ordering DoorDash or Uber Eats like multiple times every week, bro. Don't do that. That's the fastest way to. I used to do that shit, bro. And let me tell you, I used to do that shit, and you'd be surprised how much money could drain out of your account. I had like $2,000 one time, ordered from Uber Eats every week. Let's just say I was down nearly $1,000 after that week. So you got to be smart. You got to be smart. Yeah. If I ever win the lottery, I'm gonna invest in Scary Toilet Toys. Lucas, we're gonna make sure we rig every single lottery ticket you ever buy, just to make sure that never happens. I'm kidding. But yeah, guys, I think that's gonna do it for me. I do gotta kind of go now, but I appreciate you guys tuning in. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this stream. Hopefully y'all did. And we're gonna be live again next week, previewing and predicting Week 1 games when the real fun begins. Look, it's great that we have college football this weekend, but we all know the absolute real fun begins next week for Week 1. Thank you all so much for watching. Your boy, SEC Football Tube, checking out. Oh, and one more